Do be sure you check out the full season review with the card and link in the description. Remember to like this video for more Gen 5 reviews. Oh boy, this episode. Hot take on this one, Alicon doesn't deserve the hate.
What? What the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't want to believe it either before writing this, yet it's still a barrel of abuse towards Sunny. Episode 4 is undoubtedly the one awkward apple of Chapter 2. Although don't go thinking that I'm going to be shitting all over this episode, because there are some absolutely spectacular moments sandwiched inside. Be warned though, please don't have a shot every time the word Alicon is said.
Alicorn. 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 Alicorn.
Alicorn! Stop!
Alicorn. 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 Alicorn.
It's not worth it! So, what exactly hurt Alicon, and how could it have done better?
What should I do? I feel so lost.
As we all know by now, there's 5 main protagonists that make up the heroes of this generation: Sunny, Izzy, Hitch, Zip, and Pip. The first 3 episodes have been character studies for 4 ponies, so it's only fateful that the one in charge of the main 5 gets one too. 4 of these ponies fall under the sanguine leadership of Earth Pony / Alicon, Sunny Starscout.
I just want to help.
Glazing over the intentional pun, the complexion of the episode title is intriguing to me. Even if you just have the powers of an Alicon, despite not being one physically, are you really an Alicon? Therefore, a con.
Nice.
It's been a question that's been striking the fans' heads ever since the iconic ending scene in A New Generation, when Sunny gained the abilities of one. Even being the world's literal savior, how do you think that will affect everyone's perspective of you moving forward? Sure, Sunny brought back much growth and welfare across the land when no pony else was brave enough to stand up against their corrupted morals and selfish capitalists, but that begs the question, does that make her any more better than the rest of the ponies?
Good question. You are a good question.
Well, on the contrary, yes. Yes, it does. But only when it's in the name of jurisdiction. Let me explain. Whether you like it or not, the opening is an outstanding example of fundamental hypocrisy. Sunny making an announcement that everyone in Maritime Bay needs to stop eating unhealthily and instead try experimenting to make all kinds of green creations. Although this backfires when nobody listens to her, even when she has the distinguished high ground and actual justified points from what we learned in Growing Pains. Yet when Sunny reassures herself that it's all in the name of wanting to help and the Alicon shinies burst out, everybody enthusiastically comes running back to her.
Yuck to that, and yum to you. Okay, tell us more about them fruits and vegetables, Sunny.
Egocentric much?
This feels like the Cantalogic factory scene from the movie repeating itself, but in a more condensed environment. There's a plain distinction to how I regrettably love these 2 scenes with Phyllis in the movie and Sunny in this episode. With Phyllis, she had already constructed a major prejudiced institution with the town's residents, where they ended up being propagandized purely by her power and wealth. With Sunny, she is barely able to deliver a charismatic sentence into the ponies without being seen as just another one of them. Ordinary ponies.
Not another one of Sunny's lost causes.
You idiot!
But when her Alicon form is on public display, everyone comes around and is all ears whenever it's necessarily important. I understand that this opening is only the fuel to the fire that this episode will soon flare up, but I can give it a pass here for its direct relatability to the viewer and accurate representation on screen.
When we have amazing new Earth Pony powers we could be using to create fresh fruits and veggies of our own. It's the good stuff. It's the energy. We're growing good stuff.
Now, let's make preparations before we dive into the flames by addressing the side story of this episode. Pip using Sparky Sparkeroni for her viral internet activity. I'm not afraid to say this. The B story is better than the A story.
You're kidding, right?
Oh, did I make your seat shake? Well, hold on, because it's surely going to quake. I formally apologize, but the main reason why I love Pip's side story is because she's sternly channeling my own inner thoughts about being a content creator myself.
None of my clip trots have been doing well. These super popular and adorable ponies, the Philly 4, have been totally slaying the game. But this post has thousands of clip trots.
Do not lie if you're a creator online too and have also experienced the existential horror of irrelevancy or the constant fear of your passions getting shut down, no matter what kind of content you choose to produce.
Sorry, you're cancelled.
The persistent mention of regular internet terms with an equestrian twist makes me laugh. Pip gets the idea of pet sitting and experimenting with Sparky to figure out what makes him famous online. Seeing Pip getting irrational on her phone as she makes us aware of another online presence, the Hex Girls. No.
The Philly 4!
Was joyfully absurd. We've already seen that Izzy was capable of taking care of Sparky in episode 2, so having another member of the main 5 attempting to look after the dragon is interesting nonetheless. If you recall earlier in this review, I mentioned that Izzy and Pip are like two identical characters but with separate commitments. So this makes us wonder, what happens when the content creator has to keep up with their online status and looking after a mythical creature?
I must go viral. What gives you that spark I'm missing?
Usually I would find this genre of trying to be funny in front of a camera so boring and deprecating to the point where it ends up with me turning off my TV. However, I noticed that the execution of Pip impersonating whatever mischief or light-hearted act Sparky puts on is one that's playfully acceptable. It reminds me of the entertainment the Cunimar Crusaders performed in the Friendship is Magic episode, The Showstoppers. It indeed is cringe comedy, but why does that matter? What exactly is bad about Pip making a mockery of herself online? It looks uncharacteristic and the humor does sound like it's scraping the bottom of the barrel, but in general, it's only harmless fun and all you can do at least is smile at Pip's failure every time.
What does Sparky have that I don't? I have to get to the bottom of this. Well, good thing I carry several phones on me for good measure. No!
Pip's egotism in the salon scenes helped me continue lightening up to Sparky and helped me find the positive side of her narcissism. If you'd like to know, I once despised Pip Pedals completely because of her bloated vanity. It irritated me during the movie since it was her one character trait that got any screen time. I hated her in every aspect. However, before Chapter 2 came along, the first special and several Tell Your Tale episodes, particularly Sisters Take Flight, Main Melody, and Making a Fool of Me, showcased the brighter side of her character, that all was not as quiet as it seemed.
This is brilliant, but I like this.
Those stories assisted me to develop a soft spot for Pip, and her interactions with Sparky and Alicond became the icing on the cake. He showed her the true meaning of what his spark is. It's okay to laugh at yourself, and if others can see that too, they'll laugh along with you and love you for who you are.
Myself.
You've been framed!
Which ties into the A story. Okay, take a deep breath, everyone. Here we go. The overarching narrative of Alicond in one word is identity. This relates to Sunny's perpetual struggle of unsuccessfully winning the favor over how the Bay's residents perceive her. Like a light switch, they see Earth Pony Sunny not as worthy of attention or a more pleasant face than her superior equivalent. Furthermore, they welcome Alicond Sunny with open arms and reverence, believing that this is who she is truly meant to be.
We want you to like us.
But of course I like you. You're my friends. Well, not Sunny. The alicorn.
Ignoring the obvious flawed negativity behind this, I can see the constructive value this message has in the long run. People genuinely hold these ambiguous beliefs in the world, specifically centered around the Black community, members of LGBTQ, and the sexism surrounding women. Nobody actually knows what those kinds of people have to painfully go through on a daily basis, wanting nothing but loving acceptance from everyone. Of course, I'm respectively not going to go into detail with those things, but I do know one element that connects us and this episode's story arc. With the heartless behavior that the ponies openly express to Sunny, it actively makes you want to punch through the screen and teach them some manners.
My fellow ponies.
And now, let's address the disgusting mannerisms of Maritime Bay. Every time each pony demands something that the alicorn would rather do, drink one brought to them actually makes me feel sick. They are brain dead to even realize that Sunny is the alicorn, but they think they're just talking to a brick wall. Even worse is when Sunny naturally keeps a wonderful grin on her face to desperately appeal to the ponies. It's excellent characterization for Sunny, but for all the side characters, it makes you wish that they were sent to Tartarus. The repetition with some of the dialogue did get on my nerves, while I was left vacantly hoping for someone to change their ways.
I just want a smoothie that an alicorn like yourself would drink.
Yeah, I'll conjure that up.
But I kind of want it made by the alicorn.
Just shut up, shut up, shut up, shut it up.
An even bigger crime against nature is how they deteriorated Sugar Moonlight's beautiful disposition. Yep, remember her from the movie Catwalk? Turns out that she is the leader of a hot new musical group, the Spice Girls. Sorry!
The Philly 4.
And my god, they are bewilderingly stupid.
I just need to freshen up.
Freshen up in a hardware store? Weird.
Maybe Sugar has a heart at least, and excluding Misty, obviously, the rest of the mares, Lily and Rose Dust, are like submissive cattle. Egotistical, conspicuous, and too obsessed with their fragile reputations to even consider Sunny's feelings until she literally breaks down in tears.
None of the ponies here actually care about these silly causes.
There's no denying that I hate their involvement in this episode. All they are is a plot device at the most opportune time to further poke holes in Sunny's interests before they rip it to shreds by revealing no one cares about her.
Nobody even liked you before, but you're cool now. At least when you're an alicorn.
Look how they mess with my boy.
I am being serious. If I was there and I heard that from Rose Dust, I'd smack the shit out of her. The repeated chanting alone was the lowest of the low.
Say alicorn
Again. Say
alicorn
again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say
alicorn.
one more goddamn time.
Seriously, is there anyone around that can save Sunny from this public despair?
Sunny.
Opaline takes matters into her own hooves to help Sunny and chats with her through means of the alicorn mirror. Words cannot express how much I love Opaline's conversations with Sunny. These scenes clamped me to my seat, and they are some of the greatest moments in Chapter 2.
Is this me?
Yes. Hello, me. Hello, you.
The slivers of wicked influence that Opaline attempts to implant into Sunny's mind is fucking awful. It's essentially compared to that of basic manipulation or even grooming. Opaline tugging at Sunny's deepest passions while persuading her to continue on in her alicorn parallel, exploiting Sunny's power to her advantage. Maybe it has become a cliche type of hero/villain engagement down the years, but these scenes deliver it uniquely. You cannot condemn Sunny for believing Opaline's clever sways of corruption, as the mirror reflects herself and not Opaline, therefore setting up the notion that Sunny thinks she's actually talking to her conscience.
I'm your inner voice. I'm here to guide you.
It's mentally creepy, and I love it, especially when the attention to detail is displayed expertly in the mirror, giving evil Sunny flesh wings and a real horn, not glowing ones. This was the first time I found Opaline to be really unnerving as an antagonist. Her voice acting had such an edge to it that I wouldn't want to mess with. It's bitter and slightly seductive. Not only does she egg Sunny on positively to bring out the powers, Opaline stoops down to the point where she jogs Sunny's memory back to one of the worst times of her life.
Do you remember how horrible it was before? How no pony would listen to you? How small you felt?
It was established in A New Generation that Sunny never had any real friends and was always despised for her optimistic differences. It makes the factory scene and the aftermath of it with Hitch harder hitting.
I'm the last real friend you got in this town. You really want to lose me too?
And when you remember that it was due to the way she was brought up by her father Argyle, it would undoubtedly strike a chord with Sunny. To have a preferably forgotten memory dug up again would feel traumatic. I nearly shed a tear for Sunny's poor heart, and as much as I hated Opaline here, I can't help but give her immense respect. Her performance in the mirror scenes is tremendous.
Continue on this path to glory. You are an alicorn. You should be praised, admired, feared.
episode. She may appear as a cackling and self-indulgent villain, but her real power is emotionally bewildering people whenever they are at their lowest points. And that's honestly fucking scary. Just seeing evil Sunny smile so ghastly back at a grieving Sunny was bloody fantastic. It's ironic how Opaline lets herself slip here too.
You should be praised, admired, feared.
She gets too cocky, and that ends up giving Sunny the strength to stand up against the town.
You have to be in alicorn form or else our plan, your plan, isn't going to work. We'll see about that.
This ends up with Sunny returning to the only place she knows is safe to her, the Crystal Bright House. Even Izzy and Zip noticed the pressure Sunny was under, and oh my god, her outpour on the bed was stellar. The animation may have looked a little dodgy here, but I loved how she was visibly torn between her past crumbling back and how no pony was socially embracing her.
I can't do this. Go away.
There's no doubt that this scene before the epilogue was great. Izzy's characterization also was tasty. Like, just listen.
You're every pony all in one. Like Zip's spike ear. Or one of those pens you push that has every color. But as an earth pony or an alicorn, you've inspired all of us to be better ponies.
She's like a fine wine. Give me more of that.
Finally. Some good fucking food.
While all the public disarray was going on between Sunny and everyone in the bay, her gorgeous friends came around and built her dream garden. What a generous gesture from them, and I do like how wholesomely designed it is. There's even a pip hedge, for Christ's sake. This kicks all the side characters out of the window in these final moments and slides the spotlight on the main five. Each and every one of them are just as special as one another. No matter if any one of them is feeling downhearted, they are all in it together.
We knew you've been hoping to build something like this forever.
So we made it happen.
A little helping hoof for the pony who helps all of us to be better.
Thanks Celestia for this uplifting ending though, because yet again there is another cliffhanger involving a brand new plan that Opaline whips out. Opaline's dialogue before Misty arrives is chilling, as she's ultimately determined to do everything by herself.
I don't need another alicorn. I can finish this myself, the way it's always been.
It's a subtle hint to the steadily severing relationship that'll end up standing on eggshells near the conclusion of chapter 2. It makes you plead that Misty will eventually see the light and no longer be trapped in the darkness. A pretty formidable finish to Alicond. But one thing that got forgotten about.
Finally got some much needed me time, which is gonna end with myself a bubble bath.
Why couldn't we have seen Hitch in the bath? So, repeat this after me, Fluffbutts. Was it a yay or a nay? The most shameful thing about this episode is how it developed a promising conflictual impression at the start until it ultimately fell to pieces. There were some excellent moments and there were some trashy bits that got lambasted to hell and back. This is a hard decision, but I think I'm going to be handing this episode an argumentative average. Alright, listen up. My thoughts on Alicond are really complicated. This is not a bad episode, but it's so confused with its intention. The main five are undoubtedly the shining stars in the darkness of all the shit the background characters throw at us. Ironically as well, Opaline and Misty are more exciting to watch than the ponies that are meant to be supportive figures rather than being brainless sheep. I like the positive outlook this episode has on the real world for how we should truly consider those in dire need of acceptance. Yet, was it worth the risk of ruining several characters' integrities we are meant to love, not hate? It continues to baffle me how I prefer Zip's sideline story with Sparky than watching Sunny's identity crisis just get progressively worse. The final 4 minutes sincerely do make up for what was the segregated majority. Izzy, Hitch, Zip, and Pip silenced the critics by proving their place in the group with some beautiful dialogue and generosity by revealing the community garden. Let's not forget forget about the outstanding segments with Sunny's chats with Opaline through the mirror. They were fucking amazing. But then again, it greatly disappoints me how the account of events was so on the nose that I had no idea whether I should take the discrimination as genuine or as a travesty for the convenience of the damn plot. Alicond is one episode I would return for selective scenes, not the whole thing. I award Alicond an average and a 5 out of 10. Believe me now, I would rather watch this episode over some of the worst Gen 4 episodes. My first watch would have been a D, but I believe that would be too harsh. So I'm going to give Alicond a low C rank. Thank you so much for watching this review, Fluffbots. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and hoof tap this video and comment your thoughts down below of what your thoughts on this episode were. Also, don't forget to leave a pledge on my Patreon page down in the description below so you can help support me in making these fantastic videos more consistently. And I shall see you all very soon. Goodbye! And before the video ends, I would like to shout out my Silver Fluffbutt patrons, Louise Wade and Alex Smith, and my Gold Fluffbutt patron, the Pate and Grauerful Trisky. I truly appreciate your love and support.